true worship happens when we serve God's need instead of asking God to serve our need. Because if you look at what we do in church today as worship, it always tends to we receiving. But where the true worship lies is when we are the one giving. So how do we give? How do we give to God? And Abraham said to his young men, stay here with the donkey. That was when God told him to go and sacrifice Isaac. He said to the young men, stay here with the donkey, the lad and I, so me and Isaac, will go yonder and do what? And worship. And we will come back to you. So this is the first place worship was mentioned. And what was being done there? That was Abraham giving to God. That was not God giving Abraham anything. That was Abraham giving to God. Because he was going to sacrifice his only son. Can we see Matthew chapter 4 verse 8? And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you fall down. If you fall down and worship me. Let's see verse 10. And Jesus said to him, away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. So this is just to make it clear that our worship as believer is only for God. Only God we should worship. And we have gone to see the first place worship was mentioned, that it was Abraham sacrificing to God. If you look critically, you discover that there is something the New Testament have always spoken about that looks like it's talking about worship, and that is prayer. Let's see 1 Timothy chapter 2 from verse 1 to 2. Because if I ask us now what is prayer, what are we going to say? What is prayer? What do you know as prayer? Anybody? Yes, sir? Communicating to God. Yeah, prayer means communicating to God. What else is prayer? But then when we come and we are communicating to God, what do we communicate to God? Our problems, yeah? He said, therefore I exhort first of all that, you see, three things were mentioned here: supplication, prayer, intercession, and what? Giving thanks, thanksgiving. So these four things, I think they are basically the things we do, and we call them prayer. Because supplication means to ask something from God for yourself. Intercession means to ask something from God for someone else. Then thanksgiving means to say, God, thank you for what you did. So what then is prayer? Because it brought them out singularly as four different things. So what then is prayer? You can still see it in Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. He said, be anxious for nothing. He said, but in everything by prayer and supplication and thanksgiving. So you see, Paul is separating it: prayer on his own, supplication on his own, thanksgiving on his own, intercession on his own. That means prayer is something else aside from asking from God for yourself, or asking from God for others, or thanking God for what he has done for you. So that is talking about ministering to God. Prayer means you giving to God. Prayer itself is worship.